To the Point with Michael Williams.
Good morning. I talked with Tony Montalto today, a Parkland parent fighting to make schools safer for your children and grandchildren. His daughter, Gina Rose, one of 17 victims. February 14th, 2018, victims of a teen gunman who went on a rampage at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. We'll focus on a new school safety bill the parent-led group Stand with Parkland is pushing in the Florida Legislature. And Mr. Montalto will talk about another bill, a House bill seeking to roll back the age for gun ownership from 21 to 18. Raising the age was part of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act, passed after the mass shooting to protect school children of all ages. A quick summary before we hear from Mr. Montalto. Forrest Saunders with that.
Following that horrific shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018, lawmakers in Tallahassee approved sweeping gun reform at the state capitol.
Every student in Florida has a right to learn in a safe environment.
And among the provisions, raising the minimum age to buy a firearm in Florida from 18 to 21. But now there's an effort to reverse course with HB 1223. If approved, buying a firearm returns to 18 in Florida, though federal law would keep handguns at 21 outside of private sales.
Restoring the rights of young adults to purchase a long gun for not only self-defense but for sporting is very important in my rural area.
The House sponsor saying Tuesday his effort is to restore access to what he considers a vital constitutional right.
It's important for those individuals to have their rights restored, and the age of majority is 18.
Though plenty of others disagree, including prominent Republicans.
So I support what we passed.
Like former Florida governor and current U.S. Senator Rick Scott, who told reporters this earlier in the day.
We had that shooting, we had Pulse, and we had the airport shooting. And so your heart goes out to these families. And so I think we passed historic legislation that I'm proud that we passed. And as I travel around the country, you can see the evidence that Florida schools are clearly safer.
And even if the bill clears the Florida House, it faces major issues in the state Senate. Currently, the upper chamber lacks a version of the bill, and the Senate President, Kathleen Passidomo, has said previously she's opposed.
We don't have it in the Senate.
Yes.
Nobody filed it, so there's no bill to support.
Staff says Passidomo's opposition hasn't softened in the interim, meaning the bill might be DOA in the upper chamber, which would prevent it from reaching the governor and getting signed into law. While this legislation faces an uncertain future, we still have the entire month of February left for session, and sometimes bills like this can be used as a bargaining chip when the chambers negotiate. So we'll have to wait, watch, and see what happens. That's the latest out here at the state capitol. I'm Forrest Saunders reporting.
Now my interview with Parkland parent Tony Montalto, beginning with reaction to the House bill you heard Forrest note. Let's listen.
Well, I'm dismayed to see that here we are, just 2 weeks short of the 6th commemoration of the massacre in Parkland, and to see this bill up and pass a committee here in Tallahassee. We believe that following the Parkland tragedy, Florida got it right when it enacted a package of school safety measures. And we have no further to look than the state of Texas, which failed to tackle a package including firearms access and has had 2 mass school shootings since the Parkland tragedy.
So you will wait to see what happens there. Do you have some hope, given that right now, as you and I speak, there does not seem to be any traction for this bill in the Senate, and there was not last year either? What is your sense of it as you talk to contacts in Tallahassee?
Well, we're hopeful that that stays that way. We understand both sides of the argument, but we should remember that the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act, which enacted the age 21 law, also was crafted with bipartisanship, and it was a carefully crafted compromise. The age 21 restriction does have exceptions in there, and they're meaningful exceptions for law enforcement officers, correction officers, or members of our military. So I think that we should remember that the bill was the Public Safety Act, and age 21 requirement was part of public safety.
Mr. Montalto, there is movement on a school safety bill in Tallahassee. Stand with Parkland every year trying to move a package or legislation through Tallahassee. Talk about the framework of that, first of all, where it is, what it encompasses, and your hopes for it right now.
Well, we're pleased to see Representative Trabulsi have worked with Sheriff Galtieri and members of Stand with Parkland, as well as among other stakeholders, to craft a comprehensive school safety bill once again this year. As we know, Florida has moved forward on a school safety bill, at least one every session since the Parkland massacre, which took my beautiful daughter Gina, her 13 schoolmates, and her 3 teachers. So we're really happy to see that continue. Some of the framework of that bill, it includes some further training for guardians in the Beagle, Feist, and Hickson Guardian program, so they're better able to de-escalate situations they run into. Additionally, it will streamline the process for people to be able to enter training for that program. It will also require the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to keep better track of guardians who are in service and when they leave service. So it's important to do that. In the bill, there's a requirement to have the doors and fences locked externally on the perimeter of the campus, as well as the classroom doors. There's also some accountability features in there should schools not be following the procedures that are already in place through statute and through rulemaking from the Office of Safe Schools and the Department of Education, because we're going to have a requirement now for the Office of Safe Schools to have unannounced inspections of each school every year.
Final thoughts, sir. 6 years on, you continue to be in the vanguard of this fight for school safety. It's made tremendous difference in Florida, and I know that's what continues to give you the focus and motivation. Your final thoughts.
Well, everything we do extends the legacy of Gina and the others that were taken from our community and our families that day. We think that by coming together, we can help solve the problem of school shootings, bringing everybody inside the tent to have meaningful discussions, to bring our parents, our school administrators, our teachers, our law enforcement officers, our mental health professionals, and the students themselves. Everybody coming together is the way to solve this problem. And we are continuing to work towards it. There's more that needs to be done. One thing that we'd like to see in next year's bill is a requirement to put ballistic material on every classroom door. I'm reminded as I've walked through the building that the shooter never entered a classroom. He only shot children through the door or in the hallway. So I think we need to make that a requirement in future bill.
Tony Montalto. Up next, the immigration debate. Governor DeSantis puts it front and center for Florida again.